Either they're coached, not coached properly, right? Or these players are not good enough. If they're not good enough, get rid of them.
But some of these are brain dead. They have no game management whatsoever. Some of them, you can't coach them. There's too many players in there that are part of the old regime, that are bottle jobs. Bunch of fucking bottle jobs. What more do you want me to say about it? It's a fucking farce today. Absolutely shocking fucking performance all round.
Today, like, we were just poor. You understand? The defending is non-existent. The defending is there's no defence, fam. It's just a fence. There's no D, blood. It's a fence, bro. You can literally jump it. You see how you jump over a fence? That's our defence, bro. It's a fence, fam. There's no D.
What more do you want me to say? We're a bunch of fucking bottle jobs. I'm sick and tired of it. I've got people sitting there saying you can't criticise players, this, that. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. I'll criticise who the fuck I want. And if I want to criticise people, I fucking will. If you put in 110%, I'll come out here and I'll hold my hands up and say we were beaten by the better side. But when there's lack of effort, lack of fight, lack of desire, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to fucking call every one of you out. So you've got to call him out today. Not good enough.
Who else?
Fucking the whole team. The rest, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Make him walk home. Seriously, I'd take him to the train station, drop him off, and say, go on, off you go, find your own way home. Piss off. Why should you give them comforts? No, they need harsh reality. A lot of them, they need a harsh reality. But half of them look tired. Half of them don't look like they want to be there. Half of the other players that look like they want to be there and we know that they're players we can build around, know that the rest of them are shit. Let's play a high line. You go here, I go there. We're a fucking shambles.
You build up this fucking team every week. Oh, we're getting better and better and we've got a great side. I would get rid of fucking 80% of these fucking players out the door. Out the fucking door. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. You go on about world class. You said the other day, world class, world class. We haven't got one world class player in our squad. Not one fucking world class player.
Skip the intro. So not too long ago, about a few hours ago prior to the game, I dropped a video talking about how Team Lioness matches up statistically to Egypt. And as per recording this video, Team Lioness has fallen to Egypt 84-62. So this is not so different from the performance that we have seen in recent times, especially dating back to 2023. And I must say we're in the same situation as we were 2 years ago. And looking forward to what has happened right now, I can't say it will have even gone in either way. The only difference was there was a bit of fight when it came to Team Lioness in the first quarter and also the second quarter. I can't even say the first half. But there's a reason as to why Egypt were able to win it. And in this video, I'm going to go in depth. But first of all, I must say I'm very disappointed with the lack of accountability in this team. As we come here and congregate on this channel, the main objective is to inform and educate the masses so that they can understand what is really going on and what is really happening in this national team. So there's been a recurrent theme I've seen in this national team, and I'm going to address it right now, even before we get into the statistics. So in a team which has a roster of 12 athletes who are there, that's the case for every single nation that is participating, there's that roster rotation, especially it comes to games. And as I was watching this game live and I was going ahead and just going about watching the game, I saw that a couple of players did not suit up and play for Team Kenya. So there were a couple of DNPs in this game. And also just to add, I'm going to list these players as DNPs, even despite the fact that they played like a bit of, they played a little minutes. If you've played less than 3 minutes, let me just correct that. If you've played less than 3 minutes, I'm going to list you as a DNP. So we had people who actually did not play. So Ashley did not play, Margaret did not play, Vilma did not play, Belinda did not play. So those are 4 DNPs who logged in 0 minutes. And I'm also going to add Jemima and Elizabeth, because Jemima only played 2 minutes 38 seconds. So she didn't even get a few touches on the ball. And also Elizabeth did not get any touches. So the game was dictated by only 6 players. You could could see Victoria, Natalie, Selena played north of 30 minutes. Then the person who played the most minutes was Masiwanyama. She played the whole game and she didn't even sit down, even breathe. Rita Oloch played 27 and Christina Kinyi played 26 minutes. So the difference between Team Kenya and Team Egypt was the fact that if you look at the Egyptian roster, their coaching staff was very competent and they understood that for them to be able to keep their legs fresh and be able to win and contend this ball game, they need to rotate the players and understand that they need to balance off the minutes, not only for the starters, but also have the starters rest a bit and have their bench unit come in. So they have 2 units. For Kenya, we only have 1 unit, and Coach George Mayenga is a fraud, somebody who has set this team up for failure. I know the game is a high-stakes game, and you can even find yourself not playing a couple of players, but you can't tell me, you can't justify the minutes, or even you can't come and tell me that Natalie deserved to play 36 minutes in this game. Selena deserved to play 35 minutes in this game. You cannot justify that. And I've mentioned this multiple times, and I've said the turnover triplets did it again. Victoria, Natalie, and Selena. Combined, they turned over the ball 16 times. Out of the 20 turnovers that the team had, they turned over the ball. I mean, it's just embarrassing. They had 16 turnovers combined for the whole team. And these are the players that are playing heavy minutes. And I saw this in the Burundi game. And it's so unfortunate that Egypt had a game yesterday against South Sudan, and they looked fresher than what Kenya, the roster, the way they were. So this was a very disappointing and embarrassing performance, and it's pathetic, and it just validates everything that I already said previously. I don't know if these people watch my videos, or even if you watch, it feels like I find it difficult to understand if you internalize or even withhold any information in your head. So for you to be able to understand that you need to change the way you play. So George Mayenga went to that post-game interview, and you could see the lack of accountability.
Coach, just from you, your thoughts on today's performance?
Well, there's nothing much I can say because our game plan went so well until third quarter. So that's the time we gave them a leeway to knock their threes and also to allow their defense to work. We knew they're going to bring it, but when they tried it the first half, they couldn't stop us. So we just lacking kidogo, and that's the thing.
And the lack of awareness. At this point, I must say these people are just unaware that they are poor at their job. George Mayenga is a fraud, and he should never be allowed to coach the women's national team, ever. He should not, never. And it will be a travesty if I see this guy coaching this team again. Then moving on to the players, I do not expect Natalie, Selena, Belinda, Vilma, and all these other players like who are very irrelevant to the team. Most specifically, Natalie, Selena, Belinda, Vilma should not be on the national team. I know they come from KPA, but this is not it. There are players who do not deserve to be there. Coach George Mayenga should be fired immediately after this assignment. So, let's get back to this game. That was just a starter, just so that you can be able to get warmed up so you can get into this game. Now, Team Lioness actually had a very good start because in previous matchups that I've seen, Team Lioness really struggles starting off the games well. And in this one, they were able to at least go toe-to-toe with Egypt and at least take the game to Egypt, because Egypt didn't have a very efficient game and they kind of scrapped, but their efficiency and their ability to knock down the 3-ball was the difference. And this enabled them to go ahead and do unthinkable things on the court. These girls were just going ahead and, doing them sweet layups off the glass, nice assists, knocking down the 3 ball at an efficient clip, and they're going to go ahead and look into that. So Kenya was not able to win any single quarter, but they were just at striking distance in the first half, because that game, if you looked at the first half, you could say it would have gone either way. But the biggest problem that even just before we started this video, I've went ahead and gone deep at, was the fact that the team Lioness needed to understand that they needed to rotate their bench and not focus on the starters and give the starters heavy minutes. So when the game gets tough, majority of the time, the team Lioness reverts back to factory default, and they go ahead and say, let me just, they give somebody like Natalie, let me just go ahead and take this team. Let me just go ahead and coach. Let me go ahead and play heavy minutes and average like 7.3 turnovers a game. I know how to win these games. So we have specialists in failing in that team. Most notable are Selena and Natalie, the two most inefficient players. Players who don't understand any fundamental basketball, players who are sellouts, players who are frauds, and players who have no merit to be on that national team. They are the ones who made us fail. But those players played heavy minutes and they got tired. And because George Maenga is very incompetent and inept in that coaching position, he didn't understand that he needed to rotate the bench. If you look at the Egyptian squad, these girls were being rotated. All of the players played. And it was a very tough game, but still, all of the players were able to play, and they were able to mix it up in there, and the starters were able to rest. And that's the reason as to why they looked fresh every single time they were playing, because they had some time to rest a bit and they were put back in. But for Kenya, we had players playing more minutes. We had players who did not even suit up for anything. And this one really hurt us because we didn't have any bench depth whatsoever. And it took us off our game completely. And the over-reliance of certain players who are very inept and very incompetent, players who lack skill, that was the reason as to why we failed. And the score does not lie, because as much as we start off the game very strong, and in the first half we were very at close range, the weight of the game went to the legs of the players who played heavy minutes. Because even shots that they were supposed to take easily and make them easily, they weren't able to because they were fatigued. And if you look at even the coach doesn't have the awareness that these players are playing heavy minutes. The bench looks like it was being rotated by the coach, and the coach did not understand the flow of the game. So that's the reason as to why we lost. And it was very pathetic. And shooting-wise, we didn't do a good job at all. We shot 37% from the field, but looking at even the 3-point percentage, it still left a lot to be desired. And in a 3-point shooting era, where Egypt thrived on, and the real reason as to why the score really ballooned was the fact that Egypt shot at a 43% clip from downtown, despite having a poor field goal percentage where they shot 35%. They were able to knock down the 3-ball at an efficient clip, much more efficient than us. Actually, they doubled our efficiency, and we're not even efficient on the 3-ball. The only time that we were able to score was inside, and those are the only shots that we were getting. And looking at how we play, it was very predictable, just as I mentioned. We always look for the inside ball. We always look to pass inside, trying to get that high percentage shot. But you can even see Masiwanyama missing layups at the rim, Rita Oloch missing layups at the rim. I saw a possession where Rita Oloch was second guessing. She was somewhat, she could have been able to take on that defender, but she decided to just pass it out because there's lack of confidence there. So how can you be able to win and you have such players there? So it was very unfortunate. So the game was already decided in the heading into the fourth, and there was a 10-point buffer, and the Egyptian team were able to stretch that lead to 22 points when the game ended. And the game was an arm's reach. If we had 3-point shooters, the game would have been close. But unfortunately, Kenya is not known as a 3-point shooting team or a 3-point shooting squad. So Egypt were able to take advantage of that. And instead of even going for the high percentage shots, they relied on the three, which was unguardable. And Kenya did not find a way to be able to stop that shot. And that's the reason that's why we lost. And not only that, Kenya got out-rebounded, and the ball was dished out pretty well from the Egyptian team. They had more steals than us. And despite even having more turnovers than us, they still were able to win this game. This game, Kenya had 20 turnovers. And Kenya fouled 17 times. So even you can see on the screen, the graphic is very, very depressing. It's telling you everything you need to know about the construction of this squad. And Kenya, the only way that they were able to capitalize on points from turnovers, that's where we thrive. And it's mostly at the fast break. It's just a quick steal, go make it. But you could see the Egyptian side understood that to be able to beat Kenya, they could take the game and slow it down and put it at the half court and try to beat us with their flashy and good passes. And they did a very good job at that because looking at how they were distributing the rock, they were making sure to confuse us and confuse the defense to the point where even when a shot was going up, Kenya were least expecting it. And the unfortunate bit was the 3-point shooters were known coming from the Egyptian side, but the Kenya Lioness team did not have a game plan to be able to stop the 3-ball. There were no closeouts, there were no box outs to grab the missed threes, and that's the reason as to why we lost that game. Because even if you look at defensive boards, you could see Kenya only had 27 defensive boards and offensive rebounds only 13. And Egypt dominated on offensive rebounds with 18 and were able to convert on all those ones. And looking at even defensive boards, they had 32. So Kenya is a team that looks big, but they are not big and they are very small. Because when you look at even the people who are going to get the rebounds, you expect somebody like Masiwanyama to be able to grab the rebounds. Yes, she was able to pull down a few rebounds, but if you look at even late in the game, she was not able to pull down a lot of rebounds because she was getting tired. She was getting weary, and playing the whole game and playing for the whole 40 minutes without rest, it has a toll on somebody. And I know for a fact that if these players continue playing like that from the first 3 games and they carried on to this Egyptian game, they're going to lose. And this is the same thing, unfortunately, that's going to happen in the next game. So it's unfortunate there. But our usual suspects did not fail to disappoint us. And it's very sad and upsetting. So we had Christina Kinyi still playing netball. As this time I saw she had a very wide open shot under the basket, but she didn't even take a dribble to be able to get to the rim. She just opted to throw it and it bricked. So Kenya had the tendency to shoot very low percentage shots. Not even low percentage, but they don't have the ability to understand where the good shot selection. So that's the reason as to why majority of the time our field goal percentage is so low. And Masiwanyama, she was very, very inefficient. For the minutes that she played, she had 16 points. She played the whole game 40 minutes. She had 16 points, 7 of 21 shooting from the field. That's 33%, and 2 of 5 from 3. She finished with 16 boards and 5 assists and 4 steals. So this is not efficient for any good player. And by the stats, she was the second worst player in the team in this game. And you can't justify the 40 minutes if this is the only thing you can produce. And majority of the time, her points came at the first half. In the second half, that's where her field goal percentage dropped, and she was not able to convert on easy looks. That's the reason why she lost. Christina Kinyi, she was 2 of 8, and I must say, she really, really wasted a lot of convertible possessions, and it was pathetic. I mean, it's sad. Rita will watch the same thing. I mean, Selina Okumu, Natalie, these are the players who should never even play more than even 10 minutes a game. 10 minutes max. Because these players are the most inefficient, brain dead, and they have the lowest basketball IQ on this team. And they are the main reason as to why this team is failing. You expect players who are veterans. I don't even want to say veterans because they don't even move like veterans. These are players who do not understand the position that they are playing. Somebody like Natalie, she can't even facilitate the ball well. Her assist to turnover ratio is bad. She's currently averaging 7.3 turnovers a game. I can even say she's leading this tournament in turnovers because of how poor she has been at that position. In 36 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 5 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3, and only 1 of 2 from the free throw line. With 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 personal fouls, 6 turnovers. She had a plus minus from minus 18. So this is not somebody that you can rely on to give you any productivity at the point guard position. And I go in on her because I don't even know if the coach has the ability to tell her that she is a poor player. Her play was trash. She's somebody that I don't think can absorb anything right now. And I can say she's a waste of a roster spot. Same thing to Selena. It's unfortunate that Selena is the captain and also Natalie and Selena are starters. So it's pathetic. Selena, 35 minutes, 9 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 37%. Actually, Natalie was 1 of 5. That's 20%. And these are players who are playing the most minutes. Selena had 4 personal fouls, 5 turnovers. She had the same negative plus minus from minus 18, similar to Natalie. So these two players are bottom of the barrel. I don't even understand why they're still on the team. Victoria Reynolds, the only way she can score is when she's not guarded heavily. Egypt knew this, and they made sure to put some strong defense on her. She was a player that I said even in previous videos, the only way she can score is when she's playing against light defense. And to me, she's not that good because the 21 points takes away from the fact that she needed 32 minutes of game time to be able to get those statistics. And it's funny to me because when I scroll through social media, you see people picking the stats that make them look good, but they ignore the context. Because I'm going to see a lot of people running with Victoria's 21 points and all her statistics like 3 rebounds, 5 steals. They're not going to put the negative plus minus or minus 23. And Victoria, even despite her performance, the 21-point performance, she was the worst player on the team. And she was not efficient. And her 5 turnovers did not assist in anything. So she was a turnover machine similar to Natalie and Selena. And I feel sad because somebody like Ashley, she said that she's going to give this team her all. She have not even played anything. Margaret, you have not yet seen what she can do. Elizabeth, she's not getting any minutes. Jemima Omondi, she's not getting any minutes to be able to play. I mean, Vilma Owino and Belinda Okoth did not play in this game, but I can even say Belinda was not even required to play in this game because number 1, she's inefficient. Number 2, she doesn't even understand her role in the front court. So, and she got bodied so hard when she played in the first game against Uganda, to the point where I know even the coach did not even want to put her there. But it's unfortunate that Coach Maenga does not understand a basic concept of bench depth. You can't rely on your starters the whole game. You have to make sure to rotate. You have to rotate the players so that the players can have fresh legs every time they check into the game. Majority of the time, when the players play heavy minutes, they get tired down the stretch. The shots that they're supposed to hit, they can't hit. So that's just about it. So if there's a major reason as to why Kenya lost, it's because of poor bench rotation. And that's the reason as to why Kenya really, really struggled. And I say this, and I even mentioned it before, and I covered this. I said, without a competent coaching staff and without the right personnel, you're not going to have any success in such tournaments. As you can see, Egypt are a first class nation when it comes to basketball, both the men's and women's side. So you cannot go ahead and play with a low basketball IQ, both from the coaching side and from the athlete side. And in this athlete side, I'm talking about Kenya, the whole Lioness team, especially the players who played heavy minutes. I'm going in on Christine, Mercy, Selena, Natalie, and Victoria. You mean tell me you people have to play north of 25 plus minutes to be productive? That shows me that you people are useless. You people are not as good as you claim to be. And you people are not warranted to play heavy minutes like that with that little productivity. And I've said this so many times, and I feel like I'm just repeating this. There are players who are not supposed to be on this national team in any assignment that is gonna come. You have outlived their usefulness. Natalie, Selena, Belinda, Rita Loach, I'm not even sure what you're doing in this tournament because your productivity was very poor down the stretch. Vilma, you're not supposed to be there. Mercy Wanyama, I'm sorry, but the way you play, it is pathetic. Christina King, I'm not even sure why you're there. This team should be overhauled top to bottom. And if it's a rebuild, they focus on a rebuild and you recruit players who you're going to rebuild with. Don't bring and start saying that you're mixing that experience, the young and old players. What did the old players give you? Natalie is virtually useless. She played like shit today. She didn't know what the fuck she needed to do. And she's there, you might think that she's going to give you anything, but it's the same old. Even after the past 4 videos I've made, these people still don't get it. And it's unfortunate that their brains cannot understand basic basketball concepts and fundamentals. It's unfortunate that some people like Natalie, their brains cannot handle that they are better players than her in her position. I can mention, and I say this on record, she is the worst player to play the point guard position. Anyone who is going to convince me otherwise, come into the comment section and tell me why Natalie is a good player. Look at her statistics. She has been exposed countless times in 3x3 and 5x5. This is a player who can't shoot, can't score, can't facilitate, can't defend, a waste of a roster spot. Let's go to Selena. Selena is useless. This is a player who does not know what she does on the court. She can't shoot, she can't defend, can't score, can't even pull. You don't even understand what she actually can't set screens. You ask yourself, is this somebody who has played basketball in recent times? And it's so unfortunate that these players play for the top team in Kenyan basketball in KPA. And right now as we speak, it's a very sad situation. And even playing for that third spot, for that bronze, it's not a given that you're going to win this game. And considering the fact that South Sudan already beat Kenya in their first game, when South Sudan played Kenya, that was South Sudan's first game, that was Kenya's second game. Kenya struggled. And this stupidity of George Mayanga to play players north of like 30 minutes, like 4 players played north of 30 minutes, not understanding that you need to rotate your bench. And even in the Burundi game, a team that is a weak team, why do you have your starters play north of 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 36 minutes, and it's a weak team? The man has refused accountability in the post-game presser. He's like, we started very well, but in the game, they caught up to us. No. The real reason as to why you lost this game was the fact that you didn't understand how to rotate your bench. You didn't understand that you need to give these other players reps to be able to help. And you thought that the starters were good enough to win it. How many losses will it take for these people to get it through their thick skulls that this strategy is not working? Why are they so rigid to understand basic basketball principles? You can't play a player north of 35 minutes, yet they have a negative plus minus at the minus 23, at the minus 18, minus 17, minus 22, and you think that is productive. Sometimes even question if these players even understand how to read the stat sheet, because they don't look like they can read the stat sheet. These people are mediocre. These people are incompetent. They are inept. The players on this roster, especially Selena, Natalie, Victoria, Rita, Masiwanyama, Christina Kinyi, these are players who are very inept. They lack basic basketball principles and IQ. These are players who don't understand basketball concepts. And Coach Mayenga does not understand that he needs to rotate his bench to make sure that there's bench depth. There's a lack of awareness, especially when it comes to games from players. If you're seeing that you're not having a good game, why not ask? Why not ask to be served off and try to change the strategy at the timeouts? Why is it that you go for a timeout is called, but you don't address the main thing? It's unfortunate. I mean, you can't explain this level of failure. And we're going to experience this again. And the incompetence does not stop, because even in tomorrow's game, the man will continue doing the same thing that he did in this game. And it's going to be sad that we're going to lose even bronze if we continue like this, but the people don't care. And even in the game that they played against South Sudan, I even mentioned that these people are not apologetic. These players and the coaching staff and the KBF management are not patriots. They are okay disrespecting Kenya. They are frauds. All these people are doing it for the money. They don't care about Kenya. They don't care about FIBA rankings. They don't care about winning anything. And that's one thing that I want people to understand. Because how is it that you don't have pride, passion, desire when you're playing for the national team? You're representing your country. Egypt is not Stanbic. Egypt is not Swish. Egypt is not these small teams that you play in KBF. This is the real deal. And this is their output. So who in their right mind will come out and start saying that these players are good enough to even play in another team, let's say in overseas basketball? Victoria is just ruining her career right here. She's virtually useless here. She didn't assist us in anything. Actually, Victoria Reynolds was the worst player in this team. In this whole game, she was the worst player in this game especially. So, I mean, I can go on and on, but it's pathetic. These players are doing it for the money. They are sellouts. I just want people to understand that these people don't care about basketball. They only care about getting a check. They only care about getting a per diem and going ahead and embarrassing us. And even when I look at even the post-game presser, these people are not ashamed. These people are okay. They are happy because they know that they've gotten a free trip. They've gotten a free check for doing absolutely nothing. Somebody like Natalie doing virtually nothing on the court, trying to play. You play heavy minutes while you do nothing, and you still expect to get paid. Actually, these players should not even be given a return ticket. You should find their way home. I mean, it's pathetic. They should not even they should not even be paid if they play poorly. Actually, the Kenyan government should make sure that they put clauses. They say, if you don't win, we're not going to sponsor another tournament. That's something that should happen, because that's the only way they can take it seriously, because this is it's just abusing public resources and abusing the country if they do this. So that's just my take on it. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. This is actually one of the most depressing matchups. And looking at even the video that I made previously of Kenya versus Egypt, that preview, all the videos I make stand the test of time. And it proved me right that this team is full of people who don't know where they stand. This is a team that is full of failures, led by the coach, the assistant coach, the whole KBF mafia and cabal who handpicked and selected these bums who go ahead and embarrass our country. Yeah, Natalie is a bum. Selena is a bum. I mean, they're bums, all of them. So it is what it is. So like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
What more do you want me to say? We're a bunch of fucking bottle jobs. But the one thing that every successful side needs is a solid foundation. We ain't got no solid foundation. It's built on chocolate. That's what it is. It just melts. When the pressure comes on, who's going to stand there and actually do anything? There's too many players in there that are part of the old regime, that are bottle jobs. Bunch of fucking bottle jobs. What more do you want me to say about it? It's a fucking farce today. Absolutely shocking fucking performance all round. End of story.